Okay, so let's unpack this deep dive. We're looking at Simone Smith-Godfrey's blueprint for South Africa, which she calls The Great Trek Reloaded.
And right away, that title is provocative.
It is. It takes this really dark historical metaphor, the settler migration about seizing land, and just completely flips it.
Right. This new trek is about institutional choreography. It's about vindication and permanence. And this is the core idea, I think.
Which is?
Sovereignty is a system. It's not just a political slogan. It has to be functional.
And to make it functional, you need assets.
Exactly. And Smith-Godfrey lays out this new inventory of value. We're talking about 8 strategic resources, things like platinum, manganese, rare earths.
Vanadium, titanium, all the big ones.
And then you have the 2 legacy anchors, gold and diamonds. But here's the crucial part. They're not just raw commodities anymore.
They're reframed.
They're reframed as sovereign instruments, tools of national policy.
So how do you build a system strong enough to actually back that up? I mean, that's a huge claim.
Well, the sources detail this 12-pillar framework. It's the architecture.
And the one that really jumped out at me was the ledger trek. It states that this whole migration, it isn't geographic anymore.
No, it's institutional.
It's all about the invisible ledger, where the contracts and the value are actually defined. It's a shift from arguing over dirt to structuring justice.
Precisely. And that's about operationalizing value. And it introduces some real friction points. For instance, another pillar sets up these commodity desks.
Okay, and their job is?
To set resource pricing based on sovereign valuation, not just what the global market says.
Which sounds great, but how realistic is that? I mean, you're going up against established futures markets.
It requires incredible institutional discipline, a united front.
And that discipline, it has to start with people, right?
It does. Which leads to another pillar I found fascinating, the idea of converting trade schools into sovereign mints.
Sovereign mints. So education itself becomes a form of recognized capital.
Yes. Credential capital. You align the schools to these resource corridors. So you're minting, say, hydrogen technicians for the Platinum Corridor.
Creating these skilled guilds that are ready for immediate deployment.
And that ties directly into the wealth distribution, the sovereign dividends pillar.
Let me guess, it converts extraction into equity.
You got it. It ensures that yields and royalties from the corridors flow directly back to those same guilds and small businesses. It connects the worker's dignity to the asset's value.
So if we zoom out a bit, this whole institutional structure, it fundamentally changes South Africa's external posture.
Completely. They're no longer just resource suppliers. The goal is to become an industrial diplomat.
Negotiating from a position of structured strength.
And that new posture, it demands absolute clarity. This brings us to the audit matrix. They aren't just tearing everything up.
No, it's more methodical. They're scrutinizing existing deals, right? Treaties on things like PGMs or rare earths.
And sorting them into one of 3 sovereign pathways.
You can maintain it, revise it, or exit.
And that revision path is key. It's about inserting sovereign clauses for beneficiation.
Which just means requiring partners to process the raw materials in the country to add value.
Exactly that. Plus technology transfer. Any deal that's purely extractive or, just expired, it gets the exit ramp.
But what's really interesting is that this isn't an isolationist move.
Not at all. In fact, the blueprint positions South Africa as a kind of continental architect.
So the goal is replication.
Yes, to align its corridors and certification systems across Africa. Think of harmonizing with Namibia's hydrogen corridor or Zimbabwe's lithium framework.
So the final takeaway here is that this blueprint, it aims to design sovereignty into the very bones of the continent.
Through architecture.
Through transparent, ledgered systems that ensure resources are retained, reinvested, and multiplied. The manifesto insists the journey is no longer about escape, but about return, reclamation, and a renaissance. So for you, the listener, we'll leave you with this. If sovereignty is truly a transparent, functional system, and not just a political slogan, how quickly can the world, and particularly global investors who are so used to extractive models, be compelled to adhere to the African continent's new sovereign terms?